Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girls is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Denden Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now our captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
I want to give a big bless up to the Reggae girls out there. They ain't believing us. John did. Reggae girls, keep winning, keep inspiring. I know you're going to be great out there. World Cup. Sadella Marley, nothing but love. Bless up from DJ Khaled.
And I'm representing for the Reggae girls. You know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Especially if you're qualifying for the World Cup back to back. You know what I mean? Sidela, big up yourself. One love every time. You know the thing go. Blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. What the Reggae girls do? Left them name night earth like a queen. Me have to big up the top soccer team. You know Massacre represent. Jamaica support you every time. You know the thing go.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I feel like I'm from UK, you know.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
My followers, how are you? Or good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning, all depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. First and foremost, I do apologize about last night. Obviously, I didn't give you a live stream, but I think you guys have figured out my pattern now. It is either every day or every other day. So the most you're likely to wait in terms of me giving you a live stream is a day. And that's since my return over, I think it's maybe over a month now. And I've done somewhat 20 plus live stream, which is a record for me. So definitely pat myself on the back. Before I forget, if you are out and about, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed, because making it through your doors is a underrated blessing. I do have a few bits that I want to talk on today's live stream for you guys there. Obviously, you can read the banner. If you don't want to read it, I'll go ahead and read it for you. Bunny and City and Champions League curse. We're going to touch on that. We're also going to be looking at a few other Champion Leagues fixture there where the women's team is concerned. Three of our Reggae girls teams respectively played some Champions League football last week and this week. Last week being the first leg, this week being the second leg. So I'll wrap it all up for you, give you the latest with the Champions League results and what will happen next. But the main focus of tonight, so I'm really excited for this conversation that I'm going to be having with you guys, is centered around Jade Bailey and also Andre Blake. I think it is time for us to firmly place those flowers there at their feet, because you know what I always say, guys, I'm a firm believer in giving people their flowers here and now. So whilst they're still alive, let's just grow into this habit of giving people their flowers with the greatest of respect, rather than doing the human thing, the annoying pet peeve that just irritates me. People always give people their flowers when they're no longer here. It's a pet peeve of mine and I absolutely despise it. So I'm trying to just do things differently. So that's the main focus of my show tonight, talking about Blake and also Bailey. That is Jade Bailey. For those of you who are just tuning in, please remember to go ahead and hit the like button. If you've not hit the subscribe button already, I'm not really sure what you're waiting on. Do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Good day. I hope you are all right. I hope your day is going well. I hope you're in good health as well. Jordan, I hope you're also in good health. So it looks like a Liverpool fan makes a difference. I don't think I have many Liverpool fans in my subscribers list, so it makes a difference to see over here. Right, so let's just go ahead and start things off by looking at the Champions League, and then I'm going to segue into the rest of the show there for you guys. You probably already know the results where this one is concerned. I'm going to just keep it very simple. I think I should probably start off by looking at perhaps Benfica. Let's go ahead and turn on that shared screen there for you guys so you can all have a look at the screen with me, and then work my way around the rest of the Champions League before segue into Jade Bailey and also Andre Blake as well. So you should be able to see this one on your screen in front of you. This one had me on the edge of my seat. We can look at the first leg there as it relates to the second round. This is to advance to the group stage of this year's UEFA Women's Champions League. Jodie Brown, Benfica, that is her new home. First professional club, that is, and they are based in Portugal, playing in the top tier of women's football. And Brown there, you can see that she was sat on the bench there in leg one. That is, she has since made her debut for Benfica. I already touched on that in my show over the weekend, so you can go back and listen to that one. But as it relates to the Champions League, just to reiterate, Jodie Brown sat on the bench in leg one of the game there against Hammarby, and they actually played leg two yesterday. And it's not the scoreline that you guys were hoping. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this one clearly reads for itself. The information that you guys are seeking, though, Jodie Brown again there on the bench there for Benfica. Unfortunately, like I said, not the result we were hoping for. The second round of the UEFA Women's Champions League, there, leg two. Unfortunately, they were beaten 3-2 an aggregate. And if we go over and look at the rest of the Champions League, I think this one will probably uplift your spirits. If I've managed to dampen it, I do apologize. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm only doing my job, guys, all right? Can't make up the results to float your boat. So here we have the results, combination of yesterday's games and tonight's games as well. The biggest one that you're all interested in, I'm going to touch on the group stage in terms of the team that have advanced to the group stage and how the pots are looking for the inevitable draw. So we are clearly looking for Manchester City. Let me know what you guys make of Manchester City's kit. I hope you guys can see this one on the screen in front of you. Not to be shady or anything, but it looks like a training kit. Puma have this habit of just not going as hard as they should with football clubs at times, and not really a fan of their kit. I don't know if this is a second kit or their third kit, but either way, I'm not really a fan of it. I had to look twice at the picture there. I was like, what is this? Is it a warm-up kit? But no, this is actually the kit that they played in. Not that it matters, because the result that you guys all want to hear is how the game went for Khadija Bunny Shaw. Good show out. So for context, massive game there for Manchester City and Paris. So let's give you guys some context. This fixture, the first leg, was played last week. A little bit of controversy there, if you want to call it that, as it relates to Manchester City and Khadija Bunny Shaw. I'm sure you're already aware she did not make the trip to France. It was reported that Manchester City failed to apply for her visa in time. I know, very JFF of them. That was what was reported by the reputable Guardian newspaper, and I believe I saw it in the on the BBC Sports website, but most certainly was reported twice by the reputable the Guardian newspaper. Luckily, you don't need a visa to play in the second leg. That is for Khadija Bunny Shaw. A good show out in tonight's occasion. Beat Paris FC 5-0 in the first leg, and that was some show. I'm sure if you guys are familiar with Paris FC, they've beaten some heavyweights over the last season or so in terms of playing in the Champions League. I think in one season, this might have been just last season, where they beat Arsenal and also Wolfsburg. So that would have been for the season before. In terms of context, it would have been in the semi-finalists and the finalists respectively, as it relates to Arsenal and Wolfsburg. So definitely not a pushover, but Manchester City and Khadija Banishaw most certainly steamrolled them on tonight's and last week's occasion. That is so to summarize it all in terms of the result there that you're looking at, Banishaw netted a brace as Manchester City secured their spot in the UEFA Women's Champions League group stage after a controlled 8-0 on aggregate victory over Paris FC. Some good news there for Khadija Banishaw and Manchester City. They have reached the group stage of the Champions League for the first time since the 2020-21 campaign. And I'm pretty sure you guys heard me talk about this a while back in terms of Manchester City and how they've played in the Champions League. We've been sat here with some deja vu score lines in terms of how they've played in the first stage of the Champions League, beaten back-to-back on back-to-back occasions by Real Madrid. So basically, Real Madrid have previously eliminated them on back-to-back occasions, basically resulting in them failing to qualify for this stage, which they have now qualified for. So they seem to have gotten that bit of curse there off their back, monkey off their back, as they say, and long may it continue. Best of luck for Khadija Banishaw and Manchester City in this year's UEFA Women's Champions League. In terms of the pot, how we're looking in pot one, we have the holders there: Barcelona, Lyon, Bayern Munich, and Chelsea. In pot two, we have Wolfsburg, Arsenal, Real Madrid, and Manchester City. In pot three, we have Juventus, Bolton, Roma, and 20. And in pot four, we have Valerenga, Celtic, Hammarby, and Galatasaray. And that is how the group stage is looking. We do have the, what do you want to call it? We do have the draw coming up, and it does say here the draw is scheduled for tomorrow. And yeah, so do keep your eyes on the Champions League, the UEFA Women's Champions League socials to find out who Banishaw and Manchester City will be playing in the group stage. Finally, after being eliminated, deja vu elimination at the hands of Real Madrid over the last few seasons, also not playing Champions League at one point. They're finally in the big league. Long may it continue. Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan like Ryan LFC. I figured that much. I can see looks like Chiesa in your as your graphic design there. So best of luck to you and the red half of is it Merseyside? Red half of Merseyside there. Best of luck to you and your team in the Premier League this season. So I guess I could just stick a pin in it and talk about Jade Bailey. Let's go ahead and talk about Jade Bailey as a player who I think, at least I'm expecting her to be part of the call-up, unless the head coach, Hubert Busby Jr., has different things in mind, different plans in mind in terms of who he's going to be calling up for that pending match, UEFA international friendly fixture there against France coming up in some weeks' time in October. I've already given you guys the information on our upcoming games to round off the rest of the year, to brush over it. First up in the October window, we have France. We're playing France on their home soil. Subsequently, to close off the year, we have 2 games against South Africa in the latter stages of November to the early few days in December. And that one is scheduled to be played in Jamaica. In terms of venue, I was told that it will be in Montego Bay, but that one is to be confirmed. I'm sure the Jamaica Football Federation will feed you guys the necessary and relevant information as soon as possible. So keep an eye on their platform for the latest. Now, as it relates to Jade Bailey, so she popped in my mind today, and I was like, it's been a while since we've spoken about Jade Bailey. I guess we should go ahead and give you guys the basic info before we dive right into things. So Jade Bailey, new home there for Jade Bailey, and I guess we could say for Satara Murray as well. Two players who I'm sure you guys do admire. Their new club is the Blades, so they belong to Sheffield United, not Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday is called the Owls, and Sheffield United called the Blades. And you can see there's somewhat of a little mini Reggae Girls derby there, played on Sunday, with Shania Hales being the star of the show, a goal and assist as her club Newcastle United defeated Sheffield United. You can see there Satara Murray started the game, though this one was short-lived. She was substituted, I think it was just after the half-an-hour mark. I'll go ahead and check that one there for you. But Jade Bailey, you can see over here, back in the game like EA. She started the game off the bench. She came on as a substitute. I'll go ahead and give you guys the timings there of that substitution. Jade Bailey came into the game inside the 82nd minute. And in terms of Satara Murray, again, just for context before I go off and talk about Jade Bailey, further, Satara Murray there substituted off inside the 36 minutes. So what that means is 2 debuts there in the bag for Jade Bailey and Satara Murray respectively. So as I said, this is a player that crossed my mind today, and I thought to myself, why not speak about her? I think a bit like Andre Blake, she definitely deserves her flowers for what she's achieved in her young career. I think she's just 28 years old, so looking to turn 30 some point next year. But even in such a relatively young career, she definitely has achieved much that deserves to be recognized. I'm gonna go and actually check how old she is. I'm sure she's just 28, but let me just double check that for you guys. Yes, she is. So she's turning 29 on the 11th of November. So yes, 30 years old next year. I'm saying that though, she already has some honors in her back pocket, and we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about Jade Bailey and why I'm deciding to give her some flowers, or her flowers, I should say. So again, in a young career so far, again, only 28 years of age, she can say what a lot of players cannot say. In terms of in the women's game, that is, and it relates to having played for one of the biggest clubs in Europe, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Most certainly, no contest when it comes to being the biggest club in England when we're talking about women's football, that is. And we're, of course, talking about Arsenal women. Arsenal women have actually birthed a couple of your favorites, a couple of your legends there that you all look up to, regardless of whether they still play for Arsenal or not. I think if you check the maths, Arsenal have played a role in helping to develop them. And one of those development definitely comes from Jade Bailey as well. If we go ahead and look at Arsenal there for context, in terms of when I say they're one of the biggest clubs in the world on the women's side of things, and most certainly the biggest club in England. You can see there have won 60 trophies. This is from the Arsenal official website, in case you guys are wondering. 60 trophies in their glittering history, definitely glittering history. They've won, they've got the Champions League in their back pocket. No other English women's club has managed to put the Champions League in their back pocket. I think for me, this was when Arsenal was Arsenal, when you talk about the diversity there, and that is why Jade Bailey came to mind. So I'm just going to go through a little run through of Arsenal, the women's side of thing, looking at their history. You can see there UEFA Women's Cup, they've won that once. FA Women's Super League 3 times. FA Women's Premier League champions 12 times. FA Women's Cup winners 14 times. FA Women's League Cup winners 6 times. FA Women's Premier League Cup 10 times. FA Women's Community Shield. What does this say? It says 4 + 1 shared. Okay, so won it 4 times and shared it once. So this was in they shared it with Charlton Athletics. So that's something that I've just learned. So maybe you guys just learned something. I definitely just learned something there. London City FA Women's Cup winners 10 times. So in total, as it says up there, illustrious career. It actually says glittering career. Sorry, glittering history. But yeah, definitely a unbelievable amount of trophies in their trophy cabinet, plenty of Arsenal in their cabinet, definitely. As it relates to Jade Bailey, though, I've been looking at this picture quite a few times because it relates to Jade Bailey. And like I said, she's won honors of her own for Arsenal and Liverpool, respectively. I'm pretty sure that's her behind um can you see near in the middle? I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but I've examined this photo. I've actually tried to find photo of Jade Bailey with the FA Cup there with Arsenal, but wasn't able to find that there for you guys. But do trust that she has won the FA Cup there 2 times with Arsenal, back-to-back occasion, that is from the 2012-13 season and also the 13-14 season with the red half, or some of you might refer to it as the better half of London. And that definitely means something. I think for me, I can't speak for you guys, but for me growing up, a couple of the players that really pulled my attention long before I started following the women's game, definitely Rachel Yankee for Arsenal. I think even if man or woman, somehow you must have been drawn to Rachel Yankee because, seeing is believing, representation matters. And then, of course, you also had players like your Alex Scott and your Dan Carter. I'm pretty sure that, black girls up and down the country would have been looking at them and being in awe and admiring them. And there, even for me, one player that, even though I don't support her club and she's not from my country, her roots are Nigerian, definitely Eni Oluko, whenever she was playing for Chelsea, I remember, like back in the day, just happened to be watching the game and just wanted her to do well because, again, that was representation. As I said, don't play for the club or didn't play for the club that I supported. She has Nigerian roots, so she's not like she's from Jamaica or anything. But just the idea of seeing a black woman on my TV screen definitely made me want to root for her. Saying that to say, to putting it all into context, which is why I've decided to give Jade Bailey her flowers, is because I am certain that there would be young black girls or young girls of mixed heritage looking at a Jade Bailey and looking at the fruitfulness of her career and backing her and wanting her to do well. It's a bit unfortunate in terms of the stop and start, and obviously you put that down to injuries, but I'm sure they would have been just like me in my younger days, where I would look at a Rachel Yankee. I can't say Alex Scott because she's not, she's not like that old. I'm not saying Rachel Yankee is old, but there's a clear age difference there. But even for me, it would be like a younger me looking toward Jade Bailey, especially having played for the red and white of North London. Definitely little black girls, now Jamaican girls, if they're aware that Jade Bailey represents Jamaica, I'm sure they'll be looking at her and wanting her to do well. But like I said, injuries have definitely set her back a bit, but I'm hoping that this will be her season. I know I spoke with you guys, I believe it was the early half of this year, maybe around February time, where she signed for London Lionesses, a relatively short contract. I am assuming it's nothing to do with the player herself. We're going to get onto that, but I think it's more to do with injuries. She spent a significant amount of time on the sideline to no fault of her own. I think clubs, unless you're like the big clubs, like your Arsenal, for example, or maybe your Real Madrid, where you could financially afford to offer a lengthier contract. I think those smaller clubs, with the greatest of respect to them, when you're looking at a Jade Bailey, for them, again, nothing to do with her talent, but it's probably a case of low risk, high reward. And I say high reward because that is definitely credit to the player herself. It's a player that I think holds a lot lot of quality and would be an excellent addition to her new club, Sheffield United. But as I said, can't catch a break, injury halting her true comeback, short-term contract with London City Lionesses, which we have seen this year, and now she's moved on to Sheffield United, where she'll be playing with her compatriot Satara Murray. So in terms of the player herself, couple trophies there in her cabinet. Won FA Cups with Arsenal, also won the what is now the Barclays Women's Championship with Liverpool. So that's two big clubs there that she's played for. She's already played for the biggest club in England, be it Arsenal. She's also played for Chelsea. I think she also played for Reading. Is it Reading that she's played for? Let me go and double check if she's played for Reading. Yeah, she has played for Reading as well. So she's played for the Royals. So as I said, already played for the biggest club in England, that being Arsenal. And she's done so wow, she's done so in at a time where she was able to rub shoulders with some of the biggest names in the game. I'm sure you can see a few recognizable faces there, and you know what they mean to women's football. Again, thinking of the representation and culture and what it means for our community. Player wise, you probably are already familiar with Jade Bailey, silky smooth, calm, reassuring. In terms of her position and where she plays on the field of play, that is, I think definitely she does harbor all those qualities that you want from an engine. If you're going to put her in the center of your midfield, I think she has those traits there that you're looking for a midfielder. Experience, I've already touched on a few of it in terms of the club that she's played for. Clearly she has an abundance of experience, rub shoulders with some of the best players in the game, and as I said, already played for the biggest club in England. Played for Chelsea, played for Liverpool. I want to say this, but not to be disrespectful to Reading, but for context, then going off to play for Reading, I believe that was a loan. Then also playing for London City Lionesses, and now playing for Sheffield United. Saying that to say that clearly she's unfazed by a change of environment. I know culturally that is probably a big moment in most players' career, maybe more so on the men's side of things, where is probably not as what's the word I'm searching for, it's not a norm as it is in the women's game. In the women's game, you can see players playing for a host of what is deemed rival clubs, right? But you have to go where is suited to your career, and also maybe financially as well, stability and so on. But clearly having played at the top of the game, biggest club, and then going down a level, again, not to be disrespectful to those other clubs there that I named, but clearly that's an indication that she isn't phased by her environment, isn't afraid to step out of her comfort zone. And that's a lot to achieve at 28 years of age. It's a lot to achieve. I think if she were to hang up her boots tonight, she most certainly would have achieved what a lot of current players who have not been unfortunate to suffer injuries can't come close to achieving. So yeah, she's definitely, I think, a player who definitely deserves her flowers, and I'm hoping that this season is the start of something new, start of something positive there for Jade Bailey, because I do think that she deserves to take off. She's been on the runway for a while now, and she deserves to be taking off and going up into the sky and just settling and just finding a home, finding her feet, and finding somewhere where she can flourish, because she is a very good player. I'm looking forward to seeing her play for the Reggae Girls. Maybe if not for the France game, I don't know if the France games come too late. You can see there that she played she came on as a substitute in the latter stages of that game against Shania Hales' Newcastle United. So clearly she's being roped into her new team. But saying that shouldn't be a problem, because I've seen coaches call up players that don't even have a club. So the fact that she does have a club and she's getting a couple adequate minutes there under her belt, I should think that shouldn't be an issue to call her up to the national side. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether she gets called up for the game against France. Most certainly, I think South Africa. If we don't see her against France, I am at least expecting to see her against South Africa. Why not? So yeah, Jade Bailey, that's a player there that I think deserves to have flowers placed firmly at her feet. She's doing a lot in her, I would say, young career. She achieved a lot at the early stage of her young career. I think back then you could say a fruitful career. Managers have had some wonderful word to say about her. I think even Emma Hayes when she was playing for Chelsea at the time, and when she played for Chelsea, picked up a unfortunate season-ending injury, and you could hear Emma Hayes' words back then. Obviously disappointing to see that she picked up that untimely injury. I think it was a ACL injury that Jade Bailey picked up during her time at Chelsea. So yeah, played for some big clubs. A lot of people can only sit back and admire, dream of having the career that a young Jade Bailey has had. So I hope wherever she is in the world, she's definitely somewhere in Sheffield, at least. I think. I don't know. I've never spoken to her. Don't know her personally, but she should definitely be proud of what she's achieved and proud to be part of a very small fraction of young Black or mixed race women who are representing the underrepresented community. So best of wishes to Jade Bailey and her career this season and for the remainder of her career, to be honest with you. Hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, no injuries from here on out. I'm going to sidestep and talk about Andre Blake before I close off on the show. Kind of similar to Jade Bailey, but before I do that, let me stick a pin in it, see what you guys are saying in the she's played for us before. Jade Bailey has had already made her debut for Jamaica, #1 female football show. Thank you, RR. Good day to yourselves there in the comment section. So let's go ahead and talk about Mr. Andre Blake, another player that popped up in my mind. And I really wanted to talk about him because I believe that, a bit like Jade Bailey, he is an asset when you talk about representation, when you talk about career trajectory, when you look at the things that he has achieved. I think he's one of those players like a Jade Bailey that they haven't received their flowers because they're, for some whatever the reason is, they're kind of under the radar at the moment. And I think we tend to unintentionally as a community overlook our own and praise outsiders. I'm not really sure what that is. I'm not sure if it comes with the league that these players come with. I don't know if it comes with personal preference. Honest to God, I don't know. All I can do is just shine my light on them and leave you guys to pick and choose if you want to do the same or continue to ignore them. So let's go ahead and talk about Andre Blake. And Blakey, there's quite a lot to talk about him. Same like Jade Bailey, as I said, an asset in every sense of the word. I've got an article here that I managed to pull up just before I did my live stream, started the live stream. There's plenty of Oh, I don't like pulling up articles. There's a lot going on in the background. It looks so messy, doesn't it? So much going on. Let's see if we can click off on these ads. They're so unattractive. And if you want to go and read this article, this one was taken from the Gleaner. It says it was written in February 19, 2021. So it's a little bit of a dated article, but nevertheless, I think it puts some meat on the bones of what we're going to be talking about with Andre Blake, another player, as I said, definitely under the radar. So Andre Blake, notice something about him in terms, and I'll allow you guys in the comment section to make your own mind up with Andre Blake. But I think think he's is a player in terms of what he has achieved and the way he carries himself and the way he goes about his business. I think he has the hallmark of a role model. I think it's refreshing to see, to be honest with you, because growing up, when you think of Jamaican footballers, unfortunately, growing up, I didn't watch Jamaican female footballers. There is no way for me to do so, but was privileged to see Jamaican footballers throughout my, let's say, from the ages of maybe, see if I can get this, maybe touching on early teens and then early adulthood to the present. Managed to watch a lot of the men's players, and unfortunately sometimes you don't hear good things about our players. I'm not going to touch on what's what, who's who, because that's completely irrelevant. I leave the past in the past. But I think, you know, I'm liking this new crop of players, and perhaps that is one of the benefits of social media, because social media is allowing us to see these players in a different light, be it intentionally or unintentionally. So as I said, it's refreshing to see someone like your Andre Blake, and I say refreshing because clearly he is a player that does harbor religious beliefs. I'm going to get onto religious beliefs as I continue on with my conversation on Andre Blake. But you know, growing up, when I thought of religion and footballers, specifically Christianity, the one player or the first player that I can think of that stood out, and you guys can tell me your own, is Kaka. Kaka always had his celebration where he would like take off his shirt, and on the shirt it would be printed with like, "I belong to Jesus," and that was for me iconic. That was just Kaka in a nutshell, clearly expressing his love for Jesus Christ, our Savior. And for me, that is very important when you look at someone like a Andre Blake, because I think nowadays there's too many corrupt minds in position of influence all across the board, really, not just in football, but in sports and in life in general. So I think when we have players and athletes who are showing their visible affection for God, whoever their God is, whether it's Jesus or whether it's Allah, each to each their own. You're free to believe in whatever you want to believe in. I think that's definitely worthy of being noticed. I don't know about you guys, but for me, football is a language in itself. Some people struggle to put a sentence together, especially when you're dealing with English. But you know, when you meet someone and you both mention your football team, instantly there's a connection. You can formulate a conversation. You can string together a conversation. It's a way of communication, in my opinion. So I am saying that to say, I think that Andre Blake is definitely displaying that he is an example to the next generation from what we know, and I'm purely basing this off what I can see from an outsider, a bit like Jade Bailey. I don't know the man on a personal level, never spoken to him, so I don't know what he's about. I can only comment on what I've seen, again, through the use of social media. Yes, you can say take it with a pinch of salt, but I think everything that I'm about to share with you guys is just all good news, nothing negative, and hopefully I've managed to hit the nail on the head. So as I said, you know, he is a player that clearly is a man of God. When you look at his belief, his Christian beliefs, a bit like Kaka, I belong to Jesus. As I said, you know, when you watch players over the years, even, you know, growing up, you probably saw it more back then. You know, players pointing to the sky when they score. Obviously, I think that's something to do with religion, or maybe they're dedicating their goal to a loved one and so on. But even nowadays, when you look at like players in the Premier League, I know there's a thing going on Twitter or X. I don't know if any of you call it X. I still call it Twitter. When people actually referring to Saka and Timber of Arsenal as the Bible brothers, and that's because of their strong religious belief. Funny, you can see the humor side to it, but it's good. And you know, a player is one of our own in terms of being our countryman, our compatriot, Raheem Sterling. I'm pretty sure you guys would have caught wind that he recently baptized. I think that was shortly shortly after signing for Arsenal. Whether that is a new page, new leaf for him, I think that is the whole idea. That's the reason why one would get baptized, right? Staying on the topic of Andre Blake, though, in terms of being a man of God, clearly has his religious belief, has a wife and family. When I talk about family, I'm talking about his immediate family, wife, and 2 kids. And adding to being a man of God, he's a businessman as well, and that is what that article in front of you is all about. He has a sports bar called Kick Out, and I think it is owned by Blake and his wife. Clearly, forward thinking man, already thought of his plan B, and which is great. And this is why I said for me is a hallmark of a role model, actively playing his career, but he's already putting in the wheels in motion for the closing of his career. Or maybe even now, you never know. You know, football is a very tricky game. All it takes is one bad tackle, one untimely tackle to take you out, to unfortunately put an end to your income. So it's great to see that he's already put the wheels in motion. He's already got his plan B. I'm saying his plan B, but I can't speak for him. But clearly it is a plan, having his business set up there in Jamaica. I'm going to gloss over that article there in the background with you guys. And clearly that is something that both Blakey and his family can fall back on, or if not, his 2 kids there can have something to look forward to in terms of being business minded, learning how to run a business from a young age. Some weeks ago, I also touched on the fact that he's a philanthropist. He recently gave back to his former high school in terms of charitable funds there some weeks ago. And also, if you look at things where his club is concerned, so he plays in the MLS for Philadelphia Union, and you could clearly see he's been there for over a decade now. So for me, that's a clear indication of good discipline, and good discipline that has managed to pay dividends. You combine discipline and you combine determination. As I said, he's been with Philadelphia Union for well over a decade. Clearly, that's an indication of an individual being well respected, adored by the 12th man, being regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in MLS. And that's saying something, you know, for a player that comes from Jamaica, seen as a rival. I'm pretty sure they see us as their rivals, as we see them as rivals. Nevertheless, they do rate him quite highly. Yes, sometimes I do believe that favoritism and biasness creeps into play when it comes to awarding the MLS Goalkeeper of the Year. Maybe that's just me being personally biased towards Andre Blake for obvious reasons. I know there's this ongoing topic of conversation as it relates to Andre. A lot of people have been saying in terms of where the Reggae Boys 12th man is concerned, about wanting to see Andre Blake play in Europe. That's been one of their wishes. But for me, why should he? You know, Europe isn't the be all end all. The world is your oyster. We can see quite clearly that Major League soccer is growing in visibility, accessibility, and also popularity as well. And I believe within the space of a time frame of a year and 2 years, something of that matter here, Blakey has become an American citizen. So clearly his family are well settled across the pond. And as they say, happy wife, happy life. He is a player that is a one-man club. We're going to talk about that in a short moment. But yeah, Andre Blake, that's one thing that's stood out for me when I thought of Andre Blake and the fact that he deserves his flowers there. So yeah, he's been with Philadelphia Union since 2014, so over a decade, one-man club. And I think that is a rarity, and that is the reason why I say that a player like that definitely deserves their flowers, especially when you talk about representation, you know, being Black, being from our country. You don't really see it very often. When I think of like one-man club, unfortunately, I'm going to need you guys' help in the comment section, because in terms of Black players, I really can't think of anyone. And I've been trying to think since last night, like which other black player belongs to one club for the duration of their career. Of course, Andre Blake may very well at the end of his contract move to another club, but as things stand, he's played over 240 appearances there for Philadelphia Union, been with them since 2014. So as things stand, as things stand, he is a one-man club, and only players that I can really think of in terms of being one-man club is like, you know, let's see this actually. Gonna name him Totti. Let's see if Totti is a one-man club. I think Totti is a one-man club, right? Let's go and look. Yes, Totti played for Roma from 19. Should I share the screen of you guys? Should I share the screen of you guys? But wait, I'm going to need this article. I'm going to need this article. I'm going to go back and read this article. So let's put this article somewhere else. But let's go and give you guys some one-man club. I'm going to use Wiki. I don't really like using Wiki, but I'm going to go ahead because I'm going to name out some players that I think is a one-man club so that you guys can see it with me, right? So there you go, Totti. That's another one-man club. Hope you guys can see that on the screen in front of you. Another player, Maldini, one-man club as well. Let's just double check that. Yep, AC Milan. Puyol, Barcelona. I don't recall Puyol playing for no one but Barcelona. But let's just double check that before I mislead you guys. Yep, Barcelona C, Barcelona B, Barcelona man. Scholes, definitely don't remember Scholes playing for no other club but Manchester United, even after he retired and came back to Manchester United. So I actually played for Royton Town. Who is Royton Town? Never heard of them. I'm going to still class him as a one-man club. This one has surprised me, which is why I like to double check things. Good thing I did. I mean, with the greatest of respect to them, I don't know this club. I'm still gonna say Paul Scholes one-man club. Up to you guys to decide. Tony Adams, definitely one-man club as well. So let's double check Tony Adams. Yeah, Tony Adams, one-man club. So saying that to say these are the only players that I could realistically think of, and really need to spell it out to you guys. I couldn't think of any. Clearly, none of them are black unless my eyes are fooling me. But I can't really think of any black players out there currently who are like one-man clubs, which is why I think what Andre Blake is doing is definitely applaudable. I'll allow you guys to point me in the right direction there if you can think of any black players who are one-man club, especially if they're black players that play for Jamaica. I'll allow you guys to let me know. So we're going to continue talking about Andre Blake there. And this is an article, as I said, from 2021 in the Gleaner, the Jamaica Gleaner, that is. And it's actually about him and his business. There's it's called Blake's, it's actually called Kick Out Sports Bar and Lounge. And it was newly opened in the Millennium Mall in Maypen, Clarendon. And so glossed over a couple of things there that Blake said at the time. It says business stemmed from his desire to bring Kingston vibe to Clarendon. And he said a couple of things there. He says, I don't think we have anything like this in Clarendon. I think this is a step in the right direction to be able to give people in the parish something to enjoy. And he follows it by saying, he says, I'm business minded and it's something I've always wanted to do. This is me coming back and doing something not just for myself, but something where I am able to employ people. That's pretty key there. I'm assuming it means employing people within the parish. He says, for me, this is very important because it's a dream come true and I'm very excited. And he continues by saying, I think this one definitely sits with a lot of people living in Jamaica and people who visit the island. He says, citing a first-hand experience with poor customer service, Blake said, this is my brand and everyone knows what I'm about, high standards. In Jamaica, customer service is not usually the best. I've had multiple experiences, so I want to start a change. And God bless you, because he's absolutely right. Customer service in Jamaica is on the floor. He continues by saying, I want to ensure that whenever you come to Blake's Kick Out Sports Bar and Lounge, you get the best ever, best customer service, the best food, because I know how much it means to go out and be able to enjoy dining and having a fantastic experience. And he talks about motivation here. He says, for me, it was a struggle. I wasn't from a financially stable background, but I knew what I wanted, and I knew that football could be a way for me. So I was very dedicated and committed to follow my dreams. Couple of the things that I've already touched on there as it relates to him and, you know, his discipline paying dividends. Fact that he's been at Philadelphia Union for over a decade isn't a stroke of luck. There's clearly something about the player and the man as well. He says it's just a testament that good things do come from the ghetto. No matter where you come from, you can make your own decisions and decide your own destiny, said the star athlete who plays for Philadelphia Union in the United States. And so you guys could go over and finish reading that article if you wish. I am going to sidestep and look at some of the things there that Andre Blake has accumulated in terms of his successes there with Philadelphia Union. Again, doing so in hopes that you guys will join me in placing the flowers firmly at his feet, as also at the feet of Jade Bailey, who I spoke about some minutes ago, and maybe the second half of the show. Before that, I was speaking about the UEFA Women's Champions League and Jodie Brown and Khadija Shaw, that's Benfica and Manchester City, respectively, for both of those reggae girls. So you can see here, this was a press release there from Philadelphia Union. This is when Blake signed his multi-year contract. I did touch on this on my Instagram. When was this? A year ago, I believe. Over a year ago. This one came in May 23rd, on May 23rd, 2024. And it says here, Philadelphia Union announced today that the club has signed goalkeeper Andre Blake to a new multi-year contract. The only three-time MLS goalkeeper of the year will be under contract with the Union, guaranteed through 2026, with a club option for 2027. Touching on this couple of the stuff there that Blake has achieved, it's pretty mega in my opinion. It says in his 10 years with the club, Blake holds the Union's all-time records in games played, games started, minutes played, saves, and clean sheets. Additionally, Blake set single season records for saves. That's 118 in 2018, and wins 14 in 2018 also. During his Union career. This has been updated in terms of clean sheets, guys, because obviously this article was taken from last year, right? So this is an outdated article, but it's just giving context, added meat to the bones of what I said about Andre Blake deserving his flowers. And unfortunately, in my opinion, he's a player that's falling under the radar for us. So the rest of that write-up there says Blake has racked up 73 clean sheets while maintaining a 1.23 GAA. His exceptional skills has earned him the MLS Goalkeeper of the Year award 3 times, named on the MLS All-Star squad 4 times, and has been nominated twice for an ESPY award for the best Major League Soccer player. Sick opinion it for that one there as it relates to the awards. So the ESPY there basically stands for Excellence in Sports yearly. And in terms of, yes, it's not quite your Ballon d'Or. It's not quite the same as saying Khadija nominated for back-to-back Ballon d'Ors. But I think outside of the Ballon d'Or, in terms of the stature of the award there, I think that is probably I don't know, maybe you guys disagree, but outside of the Ballon d'Or, that's probably next in line if we're talking about sports, most certainly. FIFA best. I don't know if you guys rate FIFA best, but I would say, not wanting to sound biased, but I would say that the award there that Blake has been nominated for, the ESPY award there. It's no joke. Some of the best and greatest names in sports have been either nominated or have gone on to winning said award. So it's a big moment there. Yes, it does say nominated twice, but to be in the same brackets as some of the biggest names in sports, I think it's testimony to his character and to all the things that he's managed to achieve yearly, because it is based on yearly performances. But just him in a nutshell, again, you know, one of those players that we have who have managed to rub shoulders with some of the greats. That press release there continues by saying his efforts both on and off the field earned him the 2022 John Wanamaker Athletic Award, presented to athlete, team, or organization which has done the most to reflect credit upon Philadelphia and the team or sport in which they excel. And you already know what he's achieved with the national team. Again, much of this has now been outdated. There's been some improvements there. Also remember that he now has a CONCACAF Nations League bronze medal around his neck. It says internationally, Blake is a stalwart for the Jamaica national team, earning 75 caps and 26 clean sheets. He was awarded the CONCACAF Gold Cup Golden Glove and named in the best starting 11 in the 2017 tournament. In 2021, he helped Jamaica reach the quarterfinals of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. In 2023, Blake made 7 appearances, including 4 during the Gold Cup, where Jamaica reached the semifinals before falling to Mexico. In 2024, he led Jamaica to the semifinals of the CONCACAF Nations League. Oh, so it does actually mention the Nations League. And that is what that article says there about Andre Blake. Definitely a player, in my opinion, who deserves the flowers at his feet. And I think that's something that we should grow to do, guys, in terms of appetite within our community. We shouldn't leave it to outsiders to big up our players, because really and truly it's never going to happen. They kind of do the same thing that we do in terms of, I say we, but maybe let's say our mainstream media. They only take notice of you when you achieve what they seem to be applaudable. Like this right now for me is very much applaudable from Andre Blake, but you know, it's not the same as saying, oh, he's nominated for a Ballon d'Or, or oh, he's won the Ballon d'Or. It's different. So the applause won't come. As I said, I'm a firm believer in giving people their flowers whilst they're alive and well. I'm not a fan of giving people their flowers when they're no longer here, because I just think that is such a nasty thing to do. Think it's a good growing habit to let people know just how much you appreciate them. Big up yourself there, Lee. Conrad, bless up. I hope you are well. Mr. Cranky, blessings to yourself as well. If you guys aren't familiar with Cranky, do head over to his. My fan is on. It's making me very stuffy. Sorry, guys. Do head over to his platform and hit the subscribe button and the like button as well. Sorry, guys. Mr. Knight Rider, good evening to yourself. And guys, managed to wrap that all up in under an hour. Don't really have much more to say as it relates to Bunny Brown, that is Jody Brown, Jade Bailey, and also Andre Blake. All of those players coincidentally are an asset to us as Reggae Girls and Reggae Boys fans, respectively, or maybe you're both supporting the Reggae Girls and the Reggae Boys, respectively. So that is what I wanted to share with you guys. As ever, the final part of the show is down to you guys. You could just go ahead and it's one thing that it's making me stuffy, but now it's making my eyes water, but I can't breathe without the fan. I need the fan to be able to breathe properly. So can't win, can I? Mr. Farron, good day to yourself. Bless up. I hope all of you guys there in the comment section are in good health. If I've not mentioned your name, it's definitely not intentional, but I think there's just a few of you, and I'm pretty sure I'm giving you guys all of your big ups. So definitely haven't missed out on anyone. So yeah, the final part of the show, I've got just a couple more minutes with you guys. You can go ahead. You can go ahead and ask your questions before I close off. So feel free to ask me anything that you wish, and I will answer it as best as I can. If there's something that you guys would like me to talk about on my next live stream, then go ahead and let me know, and I'll go ahead and do exactly as you wish. Probably give you guys another, let's say maybe, what, should I give you guys another minute or less than a minute? I don't see you guys asking any questions, so I'm assuming that was the end of my show there. Talk about a couple of the things that we've mentioned. Bunny and City end Champions League curse. If you want to find out what that's all about, you might have to stick this one on replay. Jade Bailey is her. If you want to find out what that's all about, stick this one on replay. And Andre Blake, a bit like Jade Bailey and your Jodie Brown and your Khadija Bunny Shaw, is an asset. And I think we can all agree on that. I don't think there's any dispute where that's concerned. I'm firmly into my Friday. It's just gone past 1 a.m., 4 minutes past 1 a.m. So I'm one step closer to the weekend. I hope that you guys have a fabulous weekend. Not sure if I'll see you guys here tomorrow, maybe, but I'm not just going to come back for the sake of it. I'll come back if I can think of a topic that's worth talking about. I think tonight was worth talking about. Don't know if you guys agree with me, but I definitely think tonight was worth having a discussion. I'm trying to think of what else we can talk about, guys. Let me know if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about. I'm gonna be closing off in maybe 2 minutes time. So in 2 minutes time, I'll close off. You guys are quiet, so no questions. I take it that I can I can close off on the show then, right, guys? Because you guys don't seem to have no more questions for myself, so I take it I can just go ahead and close off. Right? All right. So I'm going to close up. I don't think you guys have any more questions for me. Big up yourselves there in the comment section. I hope that you're all in good health. Thank you for rocking with me for just over an hour. Your support does not go unnoticed. Long may it continue. If you are out and about, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed, because walking through your doors is an underrated blessing. Thank you so much for your continuous support. If I do not see you tomorrow, then it's a case of seeing you on Saturday. And yeah, Saturday and Sunday, those are my 2 days that I have in mind if I don't see you guys on Friday. All right, so take care of yourselves, and you know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.